The earth trembles beneath the weight of wings. 2 million years ago, survival was not just about firestone or the hunt, it was about enduring the sky itself when it darkened. Imagine a world where the very air turned against you, where the sun was blotted out by the endless beating of insect wings. What happens when humanity's earliest ancestors, fragile yet resilient, must face not clawed predators or roaring beasts, but a swarm so vast it devours entire landscapes in minutes? This is not just survival, it is a battle against nature's most overwhelming force. Dawn rises over the savanna, but its light is already dimmed. A band of Homo habilis moves cautiously through tall grass, their bodies lean, their eyes sharp with hunger. The night was long, and their fires have burned low, leaving only smoke curling against the wind. The group searches for roots, insects, and fallen fruit, scavenging every scrap of sustenance. Yet today the land itself feels uneasy. The birds are absent, the air too still as though holding its breath. The leader raises his head, nostrils flaring, sensing something beyond hunger, a tremor in the world. A low hum rolls across the horizon. At first, it is mistaken for the wind, but then it grows swelling into a vibration that makes the earth itself quiver. The Homo habilis pause, eyes darting skyward. A dark line forms against the edge of the sun, spreading wider, thicker, until it is no longer a line but a living shadow. Giant locusts, each larger than a man's hand, swarm by the millions. Their wings shimmer in the dim light, a storm of bodies rising and falling, blotting out the sky with a pulsing, consuming wave. The swarm descends. Grass vanishes as if erased by fire leaves, stripped in seconds, branches left naked and skeletal. The band of Homo habilis scatters to the edges of a rocky outcrop, pressing themselves against stone as the cloud crashes over them. Some shield their faces with crude tools, others cover their heads with trembling hands. The sound is deafening, a roaring chorus of wings and mandibles tearing through everything green. Hunger, once a silent shadow, now screams aloud in the frenzy of devouring insects. One child stumbles, falling into the grass as the locusts close in. The leader lunges, scooping the small body into his arms and rushing toward the safety of stone. Around them, the swarm moves like a living tide, suffocating the land, leaving desolation in its wake. The band huddles in the shadows of rock, eyes wide, their breath shallow. This is not a predator they can fight, not a beast they can scare away. This is nature's famine, given wings, stripping their world bare in moments. But survival demands more than fear. As the swarm thickens, one figure begins to act differently. He strikes his stone against another, coaxing sparks, desperate to summon fire. Others follow his lead, gathering dry reeds and broken branches left behind by the locust's destruction. Smoke rises, flames crackle, and in that fragile blaze, hope flickers. Fire does not drive the swarm away, but it shields a pocket of space, a fragile boundary, where the insects dare not linger. The group clings to that circle of light, their eyes reflecting both terror and determination. The swarm rages on, consuming everything beyond their reach, but within the fire's glow, humanity's will to endure stands unbroken. Hunger will sharpen. Desperation will return. Yet in this moment, against impossible odds, they have carved out survival from the chaos of the sky. The swarm passes, but it leaves behind a silence more haunting than its roar. The sky clears, revealing the sun once more, but the land is unrecognizable. Fields of grass are chewed down to the soil, trees stripped into skeletal forms, reaching helplessly toward the sky. and every trace of green life erased. The Homo habilis emerged slowly from their rocky refuge eyes, scanning the devastation. Hunger, which had gnawed at their bellies, before now deepens into something more terrifying: famine. They walk among the ruins of the savannah, their bare feet crunching over broken stems and brittle leaves, every step echoing the fragility of their existence. One of the hunters kneels and digs through the earth, with sharp flakes of stone, searching for roots that the locusts could not reach. His hands come up empty soil crumbling through his fingers. Another lifts a branch only to find it hollowed-out bark, shredded, nothing left to chew. Even the air smells of loss, carrying only dust, and the faint, acrid scent of insect droppings. The tribe gathers close, their shoulders touching, a silent recognition of their shared plight. But nature, though cruel, offers opportunities even in destruction. As they move toward a dried riverbed, the group notices that the swarm has left behind bodies, locusts too exhausted to fly their wings, broken, their husks littering the ground like scattered leaves. The leader crouches, lifts one carefully, and examines it. The insect is large, rich with meat. He bites down, the crunch echoing, and his eyes widen. Food. What was once terror becomes sustenance. The others follow his lead. Soon, the band is on hands and knees, scooping up the fallen locusts, filling their crude pouches made of animal hide, cracking shells between their teeth. The insects become a feast not of luxury but of survival. Their hunger softens, replaced by renewed energy. Yet even as they eat, their eyes remain vigilant, scanning the horizon for movement. For in this world every gift is temporary, every reprieve a fleeting breath before the next struggle. Night falls quickly on the stripped savannah. With bellies partially filled, the Homo habilis gather again near their fire. The flames rise taller than before, fed by broken branches stripped clean by the swarm. Shadows dance across their faces as they roast the locusts over the fire smoke curling upward like prayers. For the first time in days, laughter, or something close to it, stirs in the group. Children gnaw on roasted wings, hunters share their catches, and women tuck away dried insects for the journey ahead. Yet beneath this fragile moment of peace lies a truth carved into the bones of their existence. Tomorrow hunger will return, and the land may not recover quickly. They will need to move, to wander farther, to search deeper for food and water. Fire has given them a weapon against the night, and the locusts have given them sustenance against famine, but survival is never assured. It is only borrowed, moment by moment. As the stars spread across the sky, one figure sits apart, staring into the dark horizon. His hand grips a stone tool, but his eyes are fixed on something beyond the endless struggle between humanity and the forces that dwarf them. In the swarm's devastation, he has glimpsed both terror and opportunity. And in that duality lies the path of survival, to bend nature's chaos into nourishment, to transform fear into resilience. At dawn, the band begins to move again, their fire reduced to smoldering embers carried carefully in hollowed branches to keep its spirit alive. The land around them is still barren, a scar across the savannah carved by the locusts. Ashen trees stand like monuments to lost the soil stripped of growth, and the silence is heavy, broken only by the crunch of feet on dry earth. Yet the Homo habilis press forward, guided not by certainty, but by necessity, their eyes always searching for the next chance at survival. As they journey, the group comes upon a watering hole reduced to mud, its edges trampled by desperate animals that came before them. The cracked earth glistens with only the faintest trace of moisture. They kneel, scraping mud into their hands, sucking the dampness for relief. But danger stirs here too. In the distance, a hyena emerges, lean and desperate, its ribs visible through its hide. It circles cautiously, drawn by the scent of weakness. The leader raises a stone, others gather broken branches still glowing faintly with coal. The message is clear: they will defend themselves even against predators, starved by the same swarm that stripped the land. Fire flares once more, smoke twisting in the wind, and the hyena withdraws, snarling its hunger no less than their own. Moving onward, the group reaches higher ground where the swarm's destruction was less complete. Here, patches of green still cling stubbornly to life shrubs with leaves, insects crawling in the soil, and roots that resisted the tide of mandibles. The band falls to work, digging, scavenging, filling their hands with whatever they can gather. Foraging becomes ritual, each motion deliberate, every scrap of nourishment cherished. Slowly, the rhythm of survival reasserts itself. That night, their fire burns brighter than before. They sit in a circle, faces lit in orange glow, locusts roasting on sticks, roots drying on hot stones. Their bodies are tired, their eyes hollow from the famine's shadow, but in the dance of flames, they find something greater than food. They find meaning. The swarm had come like a storm of living hunger, stripping their world bare, but it also revealed something unbreakable within them, the will to endure together. A hunter smears ash across his chest, marking the memory of the swarm as others once marked hunts. A woman places dried locust wings near the fire, not as waste, but as symbols, tokens of survival. The group does not speak, for language has not yet risen to carry such weight, but their gestures, their rituals, their firelight tell the story. Against the vastness of nature they are fragile. Against famine they are small, and yet they endure. As dawn breaks again, the sun rises over a land still wounded, but not lifeless. Birds return cautiously to the sky, insects hum once more in the grass, and green sprouts timidly from the soil. The Homo habilis rise, with the light shoulders, squared tools in hand, fire embers carried onward. They walk not as victims of the swarm, but as survivors who bent disaster into opportunity, who found food in ruin, who held fast to each other when the sky itself turned hostile. And so the tale of this day becomes part of their essence, etched into the memory of humanity's deep past, that even when the world collapses into shadow, even when famine falls from the sky, survival is forged not in strength alone, but in unity in fire and in the relentless will to endure.